Just finished up our last workout of the week and letting our guys off for the weekend. Been a good first part of our season here. Close to a third, I guess, here. And right on time. Get a few guys back and had a really good spirited week of practice. And Mateer made it back, in case you guys wondering. I know there were some of y'all that are kind of weird and hung out at the airport for him. You know who you are. But sounds like he avoided you. So anyway, I'm going to make him available to y'all too. So you get a chance to ask him whatever questions that you want.
Brent, talk about Michael Hawkins and what you've seen out of him and the growth under Arbuckle and Coos since they've come in.
Yeah, like I said a few days ago, he's done a great job of just keeping his head down and improving and understanding of the offense and all the fundamentals of being a quarterback, leadership as well. And just has put together a really good body of work over the last several months. And he's always had a great work ethic, and he's always been really coachable. And he's hungry, he's humble, and again, ultra talented.
I'm sure as a head coach, when you find out that your quarterback's going to have hand surgery, it's a little worrisome. But what was it like just seeing John today and kind of hearing from him?
Yeah, I wasn't worried, but I've got faith in our football team, and hate that for John, certainly. But it's been good. Again, the spirit of the team. We got a bunch of guys that, again, are highly invested. And, this is, most teams going to face some type of adversity, whether it's in a game or injury to your roster, and you got to move forward, and you got to get better from it. And again, if we're who I believe we are, we'll continue to keep our head down and work and get better. And that's what I saw from the team here this week. Like I said, an excitement to show up, improve, and get better, humility to knowing that, again, we're just tapping into what we can become as a football team. And I've been saying it, the strength is in the entirety of our team, together. And so offense, defense, and the special teams. So, he'll get back at some point in time, but in the meantime, these guys will hold it down.
Does the injuries that you took last year, just everybody coming back from that, does that kind of give you kind of know what you have in your team since you went through?
I mean, they're all different. They're all different. This year's roster is completely different than last year's in so many ways. There's some familiar faces, but every team has its own identity, and we're really close to being healthy from top to bottom, and look forward to continuing to watch this team grow, together.
Brent, with the surgery complete, do you have any more clarity on just a recovery process or anything?
Do not.
How beneficial were those games that Michael Hawkins played last year? What did that do for him in terms of his growth?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of I think there's a comfort when it comes to what it's going to be like out there taking that first snap and being the guy that's got to have a broad set of shoulders. And so I think some of those quote unquote first time jitters are in the past, and so the experience that he got last year certainly will be beneficial moving forward.
What can Michael provide the offense?
Again, Michael's a guy that's a great teammate. He shows up every day. He's got a level of consistency in how he competes, how coachable he is. He's a tough kid. He's wide open. He's just ultra competitive, and again, he's a guy that understands to play quarterback. You have got to do a great job being good at just making layups, and don't try to win the game the first series of the game, and just execute with the little details. I think he's got a maturity about him that he understands those things.
He only threw 3 passes against Temple, but what did you see from Michael in that game?
It was just, good to see him. It was near the end, so it's not an easy position to ever be in there, in the last quarter, but a guy that was, ready to compete, You never know how those games are going to go, so you don't plan on, exactly what you're going to have from a game plan standpoint for, different guys. And but again, a guy that was ready to compete and is a very explosive playmaker.
You seem pretty confident in this team and what you have as a makeup. Can you kind of expound on why you're so confident in them and what makes them
Well, I'm so confident in the team. I've been confident in the team, and again, the guys have put a lot of work in. We've developed the team in all three phases. There's 16 players this is year 4. They're a foundation of our team. We've got great leadership. These guys again like to work. They're talented. We've got good competitive depth. We've done a good job with the few transfer portal players that we've brought in. A lot of them, most of them are contributing at a high level, and they're into our systems now. I like the chemistry of this football team. I like the cohesion of this football team. And this is a group of guys that like to compete. And again, there's not a team on our schedule in a game that we can't win. And the flip side of that's true as well. It doesn't take much to be on the right side of it. It doesn't take much to be on the wrong side of it. But these guys have a willingness to put the work in, to invest in the process and how you show up every single week and have a chance to win. And those are all of the reasons. And I got great confidence, in our staff as well. There's not any one position that if they're going to be successful at their position, they can't do it alone. There takes a lot of people and their teammates, as well.
Brent, with
Mike
the
was obviously thrown into the fire last year. Went and won an important road game. How beneficial is having this bye week and then another week next week to sort of?
Yeah, I think that's kind of goes without saying that the extra time from a practice standpoint to get into a good rhythm for the coaches and the team to be able to get into a good rhythm, with the new play caller or signal caller at quarterback.
And then you mentioned Giovanni Gibson could return soon. How helpful will that be for this offense without John? So
Yeah, I mean, again, our receivers have done a nice job. Giovanni will get in and be another playmaker as well. And, that helps everybody have another big, live, athletic body to go catch the ball.
with a guy like Eli Bowen, who's obviously not played this year, what's a realistic expectation for him in terms of getting back to how good he was a year ago for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it takes, time. He's missed a lot of football. So we'll see. I believe in him. He's worked incredibly hard to get back. He's going to – I'd give him some grace, knowing that you develop through the course of a season. So, but if there's anybody that can, pick up where he left off, it's Eli. He's been working, diligently off the field and rehab, and do the things on the field as well. So I got great confidence that he'll get in and get back right at it quickly.
Brent, you're 4-0 on the year, but you're your own worst critic too. Where do you think you are as a football team after 4 games into the season?
I mean, you're always looking at whatever your warts are. Where are the mistakes? What are you not doing well? And you put together a practice plan every single day to attack those areas of quote unquote weakness. And every team has them. And you, as a competitor, as a coach, you inherently always focus on those things. Is you know that's the difference between winning and losing. If you know it, then your opponents know it as well. Just maybe it's a scheme that caused you problems. Maybe it's your scheme. Maybe it's a player. Maybe it's a coach. Got to do a better job situationally, things of that nature. And so you're always looking at all of it. We certainly took the week as well to self-scout, looking at some of our tendencies, whether it's formationally or it's motions or it's personnel that's on the field, and situationals as well. Red zone, third downs, fourth downs. What are the things that you've gotten into a habit that maybe you're a little predictable. So you're always looking at those things this time of the year, this week. And so that's been good to be able to, uncover some of those things too.
What are the challenges of having to replace a quarterback in mid-season? I don't know what happened to Clemson, but your old days here and new days, you've had to do it a few times. Sometimes it's gone well, sometimes not. What are the challenges?
Yeah, just got a new presence from a leadership standpoint. Every player has their strengths and their weaknesses, things they're good and they're not good. So you get into a rhythm with one guy, and then you got to kind of get into a rhythm with another guy. So I think getting comfortable with for the coaches and for the players, it would be fair to say. It's easy to say, well, next man up, and certainly there's some truth to that. And but your point's well taken that not everybody is exactly the same, and so I think we have a a body of work of what Mike's been able to do as a young player, and certainly what we've been able to see. He's been running with the twos, all spring and fall camp. So I think everybody has a good understanding of what he's capable of, and the players really respect Mike. He's a guy that's endeared himself to the entire locker room. So he's not a stranger to the rest of the team.
Time for two more.
Brent, how did you discover Grayson Miller?
Oh, how did we discover? He reached out to Coach Deacon, and said he was interested in walking on.
Brennan, similar thing to Barry's question, just it's sort of rare these days in college football to have a backup that's played meaningful snaps the year prior. Just how advantageous is that when you're replacing a starter like John?
Yeah, his experience will benefit him, and again, so personally for him, and then again, the coaches. And a lot of things have changed from last year. Certainly, the entire offensive system's changed, but I think there's a comfort level to know what you're getting into for both Mike and for the coaches.
Thanks,
All
Brent.
right. Yep.
Thanks.
Go